go ahead and get this show started. You know, so God is good, you guys. This is a good. I'm so glad this is the final. I've been waiting for this final to end, to come. It should have ended yesterday, but I was so sick one day I couldn't do one day because I was really sick. So that's why I didn't end yesterday. So it's definitely going to end on today. So let me see where I'm at. I want to definitely get my disclaimer up. Okay, get my disclaimer up before we get started. Hey, sweet pea, because I forget about my disclaimer. Okay, because I am using somebody else's content, and this is for educational purpose only. I usually don't use people content, but this right here is so important. That's why I told people go back and watch Lady Renee live yourself. I do have it in my description box. It is dropping down in my night bot because this is something that needs to be told. Okay, she's very powerful, and she's a strong woman for her to have to come out to talk against her, excuse me, against her ex-husband, because the things that he was doing was not right. Okay, it needed to be told. So copyright disclaimer: under section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for a purpose such as criticism, comments, news reporting, scholarships, and research. Fair use is used permanent by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed. None otherwise, non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay, like I said, this is fair use. This is for educational purpose only. I'm asking everyone. You got, I know some of the churches are closed now, but churches are going to be opening back up real soon. So if you notice of any young person is being groomed, know the signs. Okay, and watch them being groomed, because she was being groomed. She was 15 when she was being groomed for her ex-husband. Okay, like when you hear from the story from the beginning, she was saying that how her ex-husband already had molested some young boys before she met him, but she knew nothing about him, so they was grooming her then. You know what I'm saying? So she had mentioned that he preferred that if something going to come out, he preferred for it to come out with him messing with a young girl, because she's much younger than him, messing with a young girl than with a young boy. Okay, so we finna get into it. Hello again, everybody. Moderators, please welcome everybody in, because I won't be looking at the chat too much. Please, at the beginning, I just want to get it, started. So let's show everybody some love. Hey, Sheila, good to see you. Good to see you. So here we go, and I'm finna go back on camera. I'm gonna keep my copyright up. Stop the cam, so I won't be a distraction to you guys. And I'm gonna uh, put her up real quick so you guys know what she looked like. That's her. That's Lady Renee. So that's who's gonna be doing the talking. Okay, but I finna put the disclaimer back up. Okay, excuse me. Here we go. We stopped at 143.41, so we're finna continue on. This is gonna end tonight, you guys. Lady Renee. Uh-oh.
Flying in from Rochester, New York to Georgia. And so we were at around the 14th, we received an eviction notice. And so we needed, I believe it was like $2,000. I have the paper still from the sheriff. But I believe it was around $2,000, $3,000 that we needed in order to stay. And so he asked his mother for some money. It was $200. He asked her to borrow $200, and I think it ended up being $400. So he told me that he brought it on that Wednesday. She wanted it on that Sunday right after church, because he told her, like, he would get it at church that Sunday. And so that is where the cancer lie started. The cancer lie, he ended up telling me that it started because he had to give his mom a reason why he was borrowing money from her. And he didn't feel comfortable telling her that he was borrowing money because we were about to be evicted. So he told her, like, you're doing all this and you don't really want to give me the money, but at the end of the day, I had to spend my money. At this place to get help. And so he's telling me this, and I said, well, what help? And so he sat me down and he said, Renee, I didn't want to tell you this, but a month or so ago, the doctor told me that they found a spot in my stomach and that I have cancer. And so he said he had been at Progressive Medical, which was a place that I had previously used. And that is a place that you pay basically out of pocket if you don't have insurance. We had Medicaid at the time, so they didn't take it. And so I looked at him and I said, that's a lie. Like, I literally said, that's a lie. And I knew it was a lie because, again, I was the one with his insurance cards. I was the one who always made any of his appointments that he ever went to. I, for over 12 years. So I didn't understand how now at this point you would not only go to the doctor without even telling me, but you would get this cancer diagnosis. You would hide it from me and only tell one of the other members at the church. Until then, you borrowed money from your mother. She had an attitude about it, according to you. And so then you blurted out like, well, I only borrowed it because I had cancer and I had to pay. And so I said, that's a lie. And he's like, no, I promise. Like, why would I lie about that? And so I'm like, okay, so what did the doctors tell you to do? And so he said they gave him this pill to take once a week, and he would take it once a week to watch the cancer disintegrate prayerfully. He never showed me where the pills were. And again, this is a person who, anytime he ever went to the doctor, the dentist, anything, I would be the one fulfilling the prescription. So again, I'm just like, this is not adding up. And even though they didn't take insurance, you would definitely need a prescription for that. So I ended up calling where he said he went. And I called like, hi, this is Mrs. Francis, just calling to make a follow-up appointment for my husband. I said his name, and she's like, I don't see him in here. And so, I won't say her name on here, but she began to search for him. And I'm like, are you sure? She's like, well, when did he come? And so I gave her the date he said he came. She searched the records, the calendar for 3 months prior to when he said he was there and never found him anywhere in the records. And so she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I can't find him. I knew why she couldn't find him, because he had not been there. And so she then said, well, could he have been a patient 2 years prior? Because we did get a new system 2 years prior. Long story short, she searches for him, then he's nowhere to be found. 2 weeks later, when he knew, I asked him, I said, hey, so have you been getting any blood work? Like, what are they doing to, keep up on this? 2 weeks after me asking that question, he comes home with this band on his arm, and he's like, oh, I didn't want to bother you today, so I went and got my blood work done. And I said,
that's what narcissistic does. They make up big lies to make it be so real. And that's what he is. He's a big one. Through her whole marriage, all he did was lie through her whole marriage.
well, where did you go? And he couldn't name the facility. It wasn't even a week after that, in the mail, I went to check the mail, and there was something from the Red Cross that said, thank you so much, Charles, for your donation. So he had donated blood. And I'm saying that to say that is how much he would do to prove a lie. Also, I walked in the room one day to him on the phone. And when he was on the phone, I heard this beep, beep, beep. So I looked, and his laptop was up, and it was on YouTube, and it literally said hospital sounds. And so it was doing the beep noise, and it also had this hospital sound in the background, like of people paging people. And so he looked at me and said, and so he finished this conversation and said, oh, okay, well, First Lady walked in, so I'm going to have to call you back, okay? Hung up the phone. And so I said, what are you doing? He looked at me and he started crying, and he said, Renee, you don't understand. When you tell people you're sick and you need a break, you get a break. When I tell people I'm sick, they don't believe me unless I'm laid up somewhere in the hospital. And again, this was another thing. Like, I felt like I was living in a movie that just wasn't even like, it just wasn't stopping. And these were things that were happening that I had to record. I had to document, because like, who in the world would believe that people did things like this in real life? And so with the cancer thing, he had started spreading to other people. Like, I have cancer, but don't tell my wife. I have cancer, but don't tell my wife. And I found out later, after I left, people were telling me, like, I'm so sorry. He told me he had cancer, but not to tell you because he didn't want you to worry. Specifically, too, there was a woman from our city who got pregnant. Well, there was cancer in her body, and she went back.
And my thing is, if you married that long and you got cancer, that's something that you should not want to keep from your spouse. I know some spouses probably do that, but to me, I think that's being selfish. You know what I'm saying? Because you being sick, and you should want somebody to, especially her, a prayer warrior. You know what I'm saying? That constantly praying for you. You definitely, want to not to keep something like that away from your spouse. It's just my opinion. Continue on.
For the ultrasound, and God had placed a baby in her womb. And this is a person that I love, and it was like everywhere on social media. And I remember him telling me, like, oh my gosh, she just blew up over this. Like, she blew up over this, and how we even know that's true? And I said, no, I'm sure it's true. Like, we'll see the baby, we'll know it's true. Like, I'm sure it's true. And I'm rejoicing, like, thank you, God. And he began to tell me, see, you never tell people what you're going through. You never tell people about your sickness and stuff, and you're stopping your blessing. Like, he started going through the list of the different shows she was on based on her releasing this testimony. And so I do believe that in addition to his mother, him wanting to give his mother a story as to why he needed the money, he also saw this as an opportunity to come up. He saw this as an opportunity, like, hey, if I got cancer and then I'm well, I could potentially get publicity. There were so many things that I found out once I left, one of which someone contacted me telling me that they were going to come out with some information, and they wanted me to know that it involved the person that I was married to. When I was pregnant with my son, I would walk into the room, and I would often hear my husband on the phone talking to another man. And in these conversations, he would describe different things that had happened previously. However, he would always describe it the same. He would say that this person, he would sleep, and this person would perform oral sex on him. And he didn't mention just one person, he mentioned several different people. And the major problem with the people that he mentioned, they were all people who were my age and fellow students of, students. They were in school when I was in school, which meant he was their teacher. And the thing is, each time the names would change, but the story would be the same. And so there was also this time in May of 2013 where he reached out to this former student to come to the church that we were just starting in Atlanta. And so I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Yeah, I would love to have him. Like, that'd be great. And so when I came home, he was crying on the steps. And I'm like, what's wrong? He began to tell me that this person said if he didn't pay for his therapy, that he would call the cops. And so I'm like, wait, what do you mean therapy cops? It wasn't clicking to me. And so he then took a deep breath and he said, well, he is trying to say that I did something to him, but really it wasn't me. It was the other teacher. Like, I really didn't do anything. Like, it was not me, and this is just the devil. And he began to call like all the preachers that we knew, saying like the enemy is attacking me. He didn't say what it was, but he was just telling them to pray. And I mean, he was praying, he was fasting, and he was really just saying like, no, like, I really did nothing to him. Then he told me, well, what really happened, I'm going to tell you what really happened. It was a few days later. He said, I'm going to tell you what really happened. and he told me that this person came to his mom's house to spend the night when he was in high school. Again, my husband at the time wasn't in high school, but the student was. And he said that he woke up to him performing oral sex on him. And I told him that a judge, like no judge would believe that, because he had also said this other student did it, and he had also said this other student did it. And so at this point, I questioned
all these same students saying the same thing, and he denying it. That's how long ago that he was doing this, before he even met her.
him like, hey, so now we're up to 3 students that you gave me first and last names that they did this to you. Like, why would you keep letting students come to the house if this is what's happening?
Right.
He began to explain to me that I didn't understand molestation. I've never been molested, and how the enemy always had this target on his back, and how, I just didn't understand. Even boys who didn't have fathers in their lives, and all he wanted to do was be a father, and they really just misplaced that. And so, like, he would forgive them and just move on. And I just need to understand. And so, fast forward to years later, I'm hearing other new names, first and last names. Then he did describe some things that happened between him and gentlemen while he was in high school. Again, while he's on the phone with this person. And the things that happened with him and gentlemen while he was in high school, like, that's very different than being a pedophile, right? Because they were the same age. However, I still would have liked to know, because again, I thought I was marrying a virgin. I was told I was marrying a virgin. And so when I left, there was a lot of triangulation, a lot of rumors that he was spreading, down to I was mentally ill. He spreaded that I was stealing, or I stole money from the church. And I understand why he had to make up those lies. He had to say that I stole money because he needed to explain to the people who remained with him why he had nothing. And it seemed as though I was still living and still doing it well. And it was because he painted this picture as though I was this damsel in distress. He painted this picture as though he was just this wonderful husband. But really, behind the scenes, I was, by the help and through the grace of God, like,
and he painted a big picture, a big ugly picture against her. You know what I'm saying? All because of his sinful action that he did. And he knew that she was tired. And he knew that she was ready to get up out this marriage. He knew that she was ready to speak, but she had to move in silence. She had to move in silence until she was able to get out that home. Continue on, Lady Renee. You a strong woman.
Everything that was good that was happening, by the grace of God, it was me and a team of honest people working on it. And so he needed a way out, a way to still get their money and to not look like the fraud that he really was. So October of 2020, a former member puts up a post expressing how she was disappointed to find out, because things did get out about him being with other people while he was married, and especially the whole pedophilia thing, like being with underage people, being with somebody who was your godson, And so when that got out, she was disappointed. So she did put up something on Facebook stating that she was disappointed by this former pastor, and she's just thankful nothing happened to her son. And so from what I'm told, people began to just comment on there, and unfortunately, people who are with him, his right hand man, along with 2 others, they got on there just saying very condescending things, lying. One of the things, and they were silly things, but things that I know were coming from him. For instance, the one female that got on there just expressed that, hey, I'm still going around with the title that only came from married. I'm still using Lady Renee. And so for somebody else, that would mean nothing. For me, I sat down with him 2014 when he first was unfaithful with his godson. And I told him, So at that time, I was just about to release a single. And I told him, I said, hey, so when I release this and everything from now on, my stage name now is Lady Renee. And I said, this works for me for so many reasons. The first reason, I was honest with him. I said, when I'm no longer married to you, I don't want to still be using your last name. Like, I want people to get used to me not being associated with your last name in case we are no longer married. And I also told him that I wanted to do things as an artist, and I wanted to be in more than just a church, and I wanted people to be comfortable with me. I felt like prior to that, I always went by Pastor Renee or Lady Francis, Pastor Renee or Lady Francis. And I felt like when people said pastor, no matter how kind of like cool I looked, most people froze up. And because I'm young, I wanted to be able to go in and out of all different genres, all different rooms, and people be comfortable. And so we had Lady Gaga, and I'm like, ooh, I love the sound of Lady Renee. And so that was my honest conversation with him. And I remember him years later saying, like, you won't be anything without me, and you can't use that name without me. And I'm like, yeah, so it's not First Lady for church. It's literally my stage name now. It's a brand name now. Like, I have it on stuff. I'm keeping it. And so, as silly as it sounds, it was something that he had somebody say, basically to just say like, oh, she can't use that name anymore. And to show even how much more kind of twisted that is, he's still going by doctor, and he purchased his doctorate online from the Universal Life Church in 2008. And so that isn't something that I'm saying, hey, don't go by doctor because you're not technically a doctor. And so just things like that were so petty. Also, the two men on there, they became very aggressive. And one of the things they said was, oh, so now she's going to say she was beat too? And the thing is, as close as they think they were never in our marriage, right? Whatever they had going on, it was still
Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? What is I'm doing wrong that they cannot hear me? Can you guys hear me? You can hear me? Okay, great. You guys, I apologize. I had a blackout in my city. I don't know what happened. It's pitch black. I'm going to turn my camera around so you guys can see how dark it is out here. There must have been an accident because I see them working on something down the street here. Hold on. I'm going to get back, champion. You can't go outside. It's too dark. Oh, okay. Hold on. Okay, see how dark it is out here? Something must have happened down there. I don't know if it was an accident that knocked all everybody sliced out over here. Got a whole blackout over here. So I apologize. I'm so sorry to go back inside because it's too dark. It's too dark. I mean, you can't see anything. So I want to get back inside. I want you guys to see. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden that I was listening to something and all of a sudden my internet just shut down. I'm like, boy, what in the world happened? As soon as my internet shut down, all of my lights had went out. So I ran and got my flashlight. I keep a flashlight close by me so for emergency, so I can see. So I'm here sitting in the dark, you guys. This is when you need a man, for real. I'm sitting out here sitting in the dark. Just me and Champ. Thank God for Champion. My hero. So I'm so sorry. You guys, we probably ain't gonna be able to finish it because I had a unboxing to do too. Because I had my stuff came in from I forgot that place that I can't think of it right now. Don't tip my tongue, but where I got my gift from Soul Sister from Shelly's channel. That came in today. I want to show you guys my boots, my coat that I got on sale. I want to show all that stuff right after the live. We was almost done. We got like about 12 minutes to go. 12 minutes to go. So I like, dang. So I don't know if it was an accident up there because I could see some yellow lights, like they're working on something. They're working on something down there, and they got my community is blacked out. The whole long the road down there is blacked out. All you see is a couple they're working on something down there. They could have warned us. Dang. Not, so I apologize. This right here was not my fault, you guys. Okay, thank you, Shelly. This is what I'm going to do, you guys. I'm going to hit. She right because I got with like 65% on my phone. So I'm finna end it, you guys. Okay. If you come back on tonight, I will come back and finish it out. Whoever just show up, because I want to get this finished. I'm so sorry for the mess up, what happened. So I'll be back either tonight or I'll finish it off tomorrow morning sometime. Okay. So because Shelly is right. I need to save my battery because I don't got 65% because I don't got no electric, nothing's on. Everything is off. Everything is off. And I hope my doggone food that's in my freezer. I just went to the grocery store today. I hope my food don't mess up in my freezer. Oh my God. Jesus. Okay, you guys. Much love. Just keep me in prayer, okay? Okay, so I'm finna end it, okay? I gotta go. Bye. Oh, Lord Jesus.